show?
Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. Today's viewer request is from Cameron Wood. Earlier this morning, that's the 15th of November 2024, the Royal Air Force's Quick Reaction Alert scrambled 2 Eurofighter Typhoons from RAF Lossiemouth, that's the north of Scotland, to intercept some Tu-95 Bears, Russian aircraft in the North Sea. Could you guys demonstrate how the RAF would do this from a cold start? Please feel free to use older aircraft such as Phantoms if you want. Well, that got me thinking. Isn't it interesting that not only are we intercepting Russian Bears over the North Sea in 2024, we've been doing this for nigh on 5 decades. In the 1970s, the RAF were scrambling F-4 Phantoms to intercept Bears, doing the same thing pretty much in the same place, possibly even in the 1960s. I don't know, I was born in 1980. I also find it interesting that the British interceptors have changed massively over that time. I think they were started with English Electric Lightnings, then it would have been F-4 Phantoms, then it would have been the fighter variant of the Tornado. Now it's the Typhoons, and I guess in the future it's going to be the F-35s doing it. But the Russian aircraft that have been intercepted are the same aircraft. They're pretty much always the long-range Tu-95 Bear, the information gathering variant of it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them being intercepted nowadays are some of the original airframes that have been intercepted previously in 1970s and 1980s, and I just find that really interesting. 50 years, half a century, is such a long time. So, we need to learn a little bit about these intercepts, where the aircraft are coming from, and I don't know much about it, but what we do have is our friend Matrix, and he was flying fast jets for the Royal Air Force in the 1980s, so he knows a lot about this. He can't be here today, but he's written a little briefing out for me.
3 generations of pilots have been intercepting the same airplanes because our buffs, like we talk about, 3 generations of pilots have flown the same airplane.
So Matrix said, it's important in the case of Russian military aircraft movements to distinguish between UK national airspace and international airspace under UK control, which are 2 different things. UK national airspace and any other state's national airspace extends 12 nautical miles from the shoreline of the state. So if we were to look at Norway here, you can see this faint pink line is the edge of Norwegian national airspace. In terms of Britain, we've got a bit of a funny country, but you can see the pink line there. Unauthorized aircraft encroaching on national airspace are subject to interception and diversion to an aerodrome within the state. So if the Russian Tu-95 were to be intercepted within 12 miles of the coastline, it would be intercepted and forced to land, probably in this case at Lossiemouth, which is there, by the way. This would only likely be done in the event of a defection, which brings up another question. Have the Russians ever defected to Britain or the UK? I know they've defected to various other countries, but I'm not aware of any defection to Britain, so please let me know of any such event. The international airspace controlled by Britain is shown in this boxed area here in the bright red line. This is where Russian military aircraft are intercepted by the UK Air Defence. It is highly likely that the Russian Tu-95s will have been intercepted by Finnish, Swedish or Norwegian Air Force prior to their arrival in the UK-controlled international airspace. The area outlined in blue to the west here, this massive area actually, is Shannon Oceanic Airspace, controlled from Shannon in the Republic of Ireland and Prestwick in Scotland. UK Air Defence would most likely be tasked with intercepting Russian military aircraft in this area, but air defence coordination amongst NATO states is very good, and the most appropriate units would be tasked. The Republic of Ireland has no indigenous air defence aircraft, so there is an agreement with the UK that unidentified aircraft encroaching Irish airspace would be intercepted by the UK Air Defence Forces. I believe the Irish government is billed for the cost when this occurs. It's important to understand that aircraft of any state are entitled to fly in these international airspace zones without let or hindrance. In the case of the Russian Tu-95, they are intercepted and shadowed because they do not cooperate with the air control centres, and they can be tracked by means of having them intercepted. The routing for the bears would normally be around the North Cape of Norway, avoiding the national airspace, and from there would depend on their tasking. Much of this would be ELINT missions, and they will fly closely to the national airspace boundaries as a consequence. Their routing may be from any direction in the Northern Hemisphere north of the UK, but likely from the northeast if tasked to the UK region. Thank you very much, Matrix. That was very insightful, especially understanding the difference between national airspace and what the ROE is if that is encroached upon, and the international but controlled airspace. So in this case, it's likely that the Russian ELINT aircraft flew north of Norway, as Matrix said. Where do they come from? I don't know, but I guess easiest would be from Kola here, all the way down the edge of Norway, and would have entered this red zone here, at which point the 2 Eurofighters from Lozimuth would be scrambled and sent to shadow them. They can't do anything, they can't force them down or shoot them down if they don't go within this pink area here. Guys, in terms of what we can do in DCS, we have 2 maps, because we don't have the entire world, obviously. We just have little sections of maps. We've got the south of the country here, known as the Normandy map, which isn't really much use. Or we have the Kola map, and the Kola Peninsula is this guy up here. In fact, it's a massive map that has all this area that I'm circling here. So I figured today, probably the most useful, as we can't do the proper Lozimuth intercept, would be to take off from Bodø, which is about there in Norway, and we're going to be some UK pilots that say on exchange, and we're going to intercept out 100 plus miles here when the bears come down the edge of Norway here. In this case, it's a single bear. It's here. It's 120 miles away from the coast where Bodø is here. We're going to spot it when it enters the early warning radar range of the radar at Bodø here. At that point, we've got to start our jets up and do the intercept, not dissimilar to how the Typhoons would have done it 3 days ago. We're going to use 2 different jets. We're the 1970s variant, which will be the F4. It's not quite the right version. It's an F4E, but it's going to be near enough. And we're doing that because it's a high fidelity aircraft in our sim, which means all the switches and stuff are modeled, which means we can do the full cold start procedure. After that, we're going to use the Eurofighter to do a more modern variant, but the Eurofighter for us is a low fidelity version. We don't have the startup procedure, so we'll do that from a hot start. Welcome in, viewers. Today's pilots are Fire, Simba, Dark, me and Cannibal. Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello.
Guys, we're at the QRA station at Bodø, pretending to be Lozimuth. We've just spotted incurring a bear that we don't like the look of. He's in our international but controlled airspace, so we're going to go and shadow him and see what he does. I'm pausing. Some of us know the startup procedure and some don't, so let's try and stay together. Simba, if you guide us through it.
Copy. First thing, click the helmet, put it on.
Helmet. I have a helmet.
All right, look down from where the helmet was. You'll see the 2 external power switches, or your 2 generator power switches. External or engine. I flip them forward to engine.
Aye, aye.
Pull up your crew chief menu. Sorry, ask the crew chief, go to air source, ask the crew chief to load carts.
Roger, at this point we've got a few seconds. The bear's a few miles out. I believe there's 2 methods of starting this aircraft. That's right, isn't it, guys?
Affirm, there is a cartridge start and an air cart start.
Air cart start. Right, and we're choosing the cartridge start, and that's the one that we think would be used in the QRA. Is that right?
All right, from there, go to the left where your throttles are. Look inboard of your throttles. There's going to be the engine ignition switches, or for the igniters.
Alignment, do you want?
You'll flip both of those forward.
Loaded, sir.
Aye, aye.
Okay, sword heading, align.
All right, from there you are ready to start. After you've answered all your gesture questions, and from there you would, on the engine crank switch, just forward of those switches, you'll either click it left or right, and then you'll go to the corresponding throttle. On the back side there'll be a igniter button you'll push and hold, and there'll be a detent to flip the switch, or to flip the throttle from idle, from cutoff to idle.
And repeat for the right.
You, ready for alignment? Woke up.
Alright, my guys are lining. Both engines are spawning up on the tacho. Well done, Simba, so far.
Close the canopy at your leisure.
Alright.
Canopy gun
Alright,
unlocked.
just hasn't
Lights out
asked
and
you if
strike
you're
the line.
ready to start. Should be doing that next. Alright, so next you're going to have two lights on your dummy panel. To get those to go out, you're going to go left side of the cockpit after the throttles and click the 3 switches for your AFCS forward. Next you're going to go back to where the throttles are, and just inboard of where they currently are sitting, you're going to see your CDAC. You want to reset that.
Nice. Cap, all lights out.
Don't forget to turn on your oxygen.
We'll need that, guys.
And then just outboard of the anti-skid illuminated light will be your anti-skid if you want to flip that.
Alright, is that a lot?
Yep, you're just waiting for the stored headings to finish.
How do you know when that's done?
Jester should say we're ready to taxi.
Roger, now that was pretty simple. Bearing in mind that this is actually a very complex 1960s, 1970s jet. I mean, that wasn't that many buttons. 2 buttons, 2 buttons, 1 button, 3 buttons, 1 button, 1 button optional. You know, it seems like a jet that was designed to be started up pretty quickly, so, you know, pretty decent QRA jet. Oh, one guy's just disappeared. Bye-bye, guy. Viewers, we took delivery of the first Phantoms, the K model from memory. I think it was 1968 or 1969.
My Jester says I'm ready to go. I'll pull out and
Alignment
get ready.
completed. You can go primary sync now.
Alignment
Ready to
complete.
taxi.
I got some flashing RWR, but that's okay. Ready to taxi. Look at us doing a full startup, guys.
Cannonball ready.
Buddy,
Alright.
let's do it.
Freaking go. I wish we had a clock in here, so
Time to hit the deck on this flight.
yes, we do have a clock, so we know how long we've taken. We've taken 6 minutes. 6 minutes to do that.
Everybody ready?
2.
First ready.
All right.
3.
Just going straight cans.
Yes, sir. Straight can, sir.
Engine's good. Airspeed off the peg.
I didn't talk about our armament. We've got
89.
4 Sidewinders and 4
109.
Sparrows, which is what Matrix said our old Phantoms used to operate with on QRA. And the Sparrows were later in the 1970s or 80s, I forget now, replaced by
Gears moving.
indigenous Skyflash, which was actually just a Sparrow with a British rocket motor and slightly different avionics.
Cap, after your throttles, it's going to be a triangle tip switch. That's going to be your external fuel transfer source.
Yes, visual.
We just got to get up through the clouds.
We also haven't looked on the map yet, so I don't actually know which way we're going. I can't let
Heads
go
up,
of the
we've
stick
got
of the map.
traffic at our 6 o'clock.
Just wait. Okay, through the clouds. And safe. Checking the map. Right, guys, we are going to intercept a guy at 320. I'm guessing it's just full burn all the way, right? I mean, it's an emergency intercept. I mean, I know in Britain, it's the only time we're allowed to break the sound barrier in our airspace is on these QRAs, and we do break the sound barrier in these QRAs because the public always complain.
Heads up, nails 5 o'clock.
What did you want to do with that triangle switch, by the way?
If you flip it outboard, it'll go with your wing fuel tanks first.
Right, guys, approaching 20,000 feet and on 320. Got a buddy with me. Hello, buddy.
Hello, Cap.
I mean, this is a pretty good plane for this. It's easy to start, it carries loads of weapons, it's fast as hell, goes over Mark II, carries a bucket loads of fuel. This is a great plane for it.
Forward of your stick on that center panel, on the left side, below your storage jettison button, you're going to flip that switch up to get your radar screen to come on.
On time's radar screen, guys. Right, I'm going to check on the map and see where everyone is. What altitude are you going up to?
Probably 34, 35, where I can get best fuel efficiency.
30,000 speed. We do it at Mach 0.85, but we are very heavily loaded and climbing. predecessor to this aircraft, the English Electric Lightning, was literally made for this job. It had one job, which is to get up to altitude as fast as possible and sling missiles at bombers as fast as possible. And it did that pretty well. This was more of a multi-role aircraft, but obviously still extremely good at intercept. Right, 36,000, levelling off. Let's see if we can remember the autopilot in this. Almost certainly not. Sorry about the dark cockpit today, viewers. I'm not sure why it's so dark today. Some kind of reason, I imagine. Oh god, it really is dark, isn't it? There's altitude and there's AFCS. What else do you think, guys?
That's all you got.
That's what it is. Oh god, my memory's so bad nowadays. Alright, autopilot on, 37,000 feet. Last one there, I believe, is some kind of rotten egg.
That's pretty hard, considering I'm going to be on the tarmac in a second.
You're going to be on the tarmac in a second, Dark. Well, you should hurry the chop up. Guys, regarding our exterior fuel tanks, from memory, it's not easy to figure out which ones are empty. I'm right, aren't I?
I would say if you are below 11,000 pounds of fuel, and you got green lights on your dummy panel, then you are through those tanks.
Are we talking outer or inner?
Right now you're in the outer, so you should see two lights. One saying left tank, one saying right tank.
I did say that. So if I go back to center now for the actual fuel usage, oh god, now how do we drop these things?
Alright, on your bomb panel above your weapon selector switches, push in the right outboard, left outboard buttons.
Yes. Right outboard,
and
yes,
then,
outboard.
Then go to the black rotary knob with the red jettison button in the middle.
Yeah.
Turn that to where the arrow is pointed all the way down.
Yeah.
And then hit the button.
Yes, well remembered. My AFCS has gone sparky, so I'm turning it off. And I'm back to manual control. I don't know why that happened. I think...
It's probably transonic.
Yeah, right, so it gets confused at that point, doesn't it? Speed! You're absolutely right. We are Mark 1. So I'm going to do a dive to try and get supersonic then. So altitude, it is 36,000. Right, I'm diving cannonball just to get through the barrier.
I would suggest you adjust your heading left by about 30 degrees. Right now you're on track to be behind it.
Roger, noted. Okay, Mark 1.2, so we're through the barrier nicely. Leveling out again.
6 o'clock.
Alright, leveling out on 300, 36,000 feet or thereabouts. Mark 1.1, just lost a bit of speed there, but I think we're through okay. Right, I'm going to check on the GCI map. Oh yeah, wow. You're absolutely right. Just shows he's really moving as well.
Jester has contact.
Roger.
But he's jamming.
Oh yes.
Okay, no IFF, it's a bandit. Locking bogey, left 45 degrees, 17 miles.
Ah, lock Simba. Okay, I see the bear now.
Right 20, 41 miles, 36,000.
What miles you got him at, Simba?
42.
That target is a bandit. I'm not getting any IFF. Locking bogey. Left
all I can do is lock you.
Miles.
Alright.
I'll continue with the standard.
I'm going visually. Pretty sure that's going to be him over there, that guy there. Try locking again.
Locking bogey, left 45, 17
No!
miles.
Stop blocking Simba!
Okay, focusing on that one.
How do I tell it to lock the other guy? Right, I've lost him on the radar. That almost certainly means he's in a 90-degree notch and or the jamming's taking effect. So, I'm going to try and find him visually, and I can see him. There's his con. Assuming it's him. Alright. Fair and square, we found it.
I'm going to come out of the cans. So this is an intercept, not a shoot down, correct?
Yep, although we might be a little bit silly at the end. We shall see. We do have form on that front, guys. Gonna check the map just for funsies. Simba got there really
Jester
quickly.
is telling me I'm cleared to shoot.
Not yet. Let's all get with it in flying formation because they fly in formation. In fact, there's the next question. What are they doing here? And what do we do when we intercept viewers? So my understanding is it's usually ELINT aircraft, so they're there to collect radio signals. My understanding of why you would do that is because, well, everyone's entire defense system is based on knowing the opposition's systems, which you can tell an awful lot about by their radio emissions. It's almost impossible to, keep yourself completely emissions controlled. Therefore, you learn about the different radars, you learn about the hostiles missiles, you learn about their stuff by their emissions.
12 miles.
And that's basically one of the most important things you can do. You can't operate without that information. So my assumption would be that the bears are but loitering off just outside the sovereign airspace, learning as much as they can about those radio emissions. So I don't think it's spying. I don't think it's a spy plane. I don't think it's trying to find out, where our submarines are, or, where our ships are. I think they're just listening to our signals. Now, what would we actually do in real life? Well, he's not in sovereign airspace, so he's allowed to be here. So I guess we just fly off his wing, guys, until he leaves our airspace. Don't know, viewers. Let us know. I don't know at that point.
I mean, it would be a myriad of things. I mean, they're hoping you turn some type of a SAM site on because they want to be able to record whatever frequencies that's emitting on. Like, part of jamming is knowing what you're jamming.
So that's how we would have learned. So NATO would have learned all of the Russian radars. We would have sent, presumably, listeners to listen to them turning their radars on, and that's how we would know. My intercept went a bit wrong, guys.
What's his speed, Simba?
Yes.
About 270.
We accidentally came in at Mach 2.
Nails, 5 o'clock.
Number 4, man, how far out are you?
I'm about 7 miles behind. I'm forming up now.
7 o'clock now.
Alright, we'll get in formation and then we'll give him a nice British welcome, guys.
Another thing that they would do with sending these is just to see your response time. How long did it take you to get fighters up there? What fighters did you scramble and where did they come from?
That's a fair point, right? Because you've got to constantly analyse how effective your oppositions are. And I suspect we did pretty favourably. We probably got Eurofighters up very quickly.
Turning right.
Another question I have. I've never understood the answer to this question, and this is a geopolitical question. I'll probably shout it out in the comments. But what the hell is Russia doing stuff like this for? I mean, they're fighting a massive war, right?
12 o'clock high.
I checked their GDP today before I came on. It's 11th in the world, whereas UK is, I think, 6th, something like that. So they're a small country economically compared to America or China or something like that. Why are they using their resources to loiter out like they did in the 1960s and 70s, doing this? I mean, and they're doing it to America and other countries as well, aren't they? What on earth is going on? I guess I just don't understand that side of things. Right, finally met formation. Also, I guess you would consider this the equivalent of the American buff, right? B-52, both made in 1952, I believe. Although I suppose this is more versatile than the B-52. The B-52 has always been a strike aircraft, a bomber, hasn't it? Where there are various different versions of this. Some are pure ELINT listeners, some are searchers, some are bombers.
Is at our 11 o'clock.
Alright guys, we're going to try and get a tandem kill. Choose whatever weapon you want to use. Fall back to about 5 times as far as Simba is now. So a good, a few hundred feet.
Looking good, keep it coming.
I'll give us a 3, 2, 1 and we'll shoot him down. Alright guys, we're going to dispatch this guy in 3, 2, 1, now! Ripped him a new one.
Bandit is down.
He's not dead enough. Oh no, I got shot. I got shot.
Oh, got him. Splash. The bandit is going down.
I'm going down with him, guys. I believe I've lost my tailplane. Oh, look up there, imagine. Through the North Sea, that is somewhere you do not want to land. Still going down with him. This game's fun. Ow. Ah, look at that, he's more draggy than me. That is a wonderful sequence. We're just falling. I went into a flat spin and I'm now more draggy. He's down, he's gone. Alright, that was a 1970s variant, and damn, it was professional. Welcome back, viewers. We're now going to use our Eurofighters, but we're not. For some reason, we can't fly the Eurofighter anymore. I don't know why. I don't know. Well, I just don't know why. So we're going to have to make the AI fly it instead. Okay, the AI will have to fly it for us. wingman taking off.
They just look so aggressive.
Oh yes, you've got to be impressive now, Simba. It's a really good interceptor for this because it's got a massively high power to weight ratio compared to a lot of planes. I mean, compared to the F4 Phantom, it can accelerate much faster, which is obviously super mega important for an intercept like this. So it makes a really good interceptor, especially the FGR-4 variant. We've armed them with modern long-range missiles, the Meteor missile. It's very unlikely, from what I've heard in reality, that they'll actually be carrying these missiles on a bare intercept. It's much more likely they'll have old missiles. A lot of the time, AIM-120B from 1994, so a 30-year-old missile, is likely they'll be carrying. And I guess, why is that? Well, I guess they just don't need it. I mean, if you're not going to shoot the bear anyway, you know you're not going to shoot the bear, why are you going to have a massive $3 million big heavy Meteor? Wingman turning. We have 2 QRA bases in Britain. I mean, it's kind of amazing, really. Our entire country, we have just 2 bases where we could possibly scramble fighters from. That is Lossiemouth, that's at the very north of the country in Scotland. And kind of, I don't know, about 2/3 of the way down, we have Coningsby, which is actually where I went to. I went to that base the other day to see the Battle of Britain Memorial. But unfortunately, there were no Eurofighters flying. Lead Eurofighter, 25,000 feet, probably supersonic. Or not. They're chugging along dangerously, stealing our radio emissions. When I say radio, I just don't mean communications only. I mean radar. I mean anything that operates in the EM spectrum.
He does look like the Hamburglar.
He looks like the Hamburglar, Simba. Oh yes, from McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Big ugly chap.
Also looks like the cartoon of an old man missing his dentures.
Wow, they've taken off so fast they've got way ahead of him. Right, we're going to scroll forward, viewers. We've caught him, viewers. Shoo, get out of our airspace. That's not actually our airspace. He's not listening, boys. Let's go weapons hot. Boys, engage!
Synchronized missile shots?
Get some, you mother! Why are you in our controlled airspace in the first place? Huh. They all missed. Those are some seriously powerful chaps. I mean, flares. Again.
They defeated it again.
Meteor him! Meteor him, boys! Victory road to space and beyond. Oh, that was funny. AI, best AI. I'm gonna fire you all and just use AI. Brilliant. All right, guys. I don't really know what we were showing there. We weren't really doing it seriously, but you know, a bit of fun. And that is something that happens in real life, and it's, you know, been happening for 50 years. Very interesting. Anything to add from my humanoid womanoids?
Except for the shooting down part.
Apart from the shooting down bit. Yeah, we ain't done that. We ain't done that. I should say America have done this a lot from Iceland as well, so it's not just us. You know, all sorts of other countries, yeah. Oh, good. Very good. I hope you enjoyed that, and bye!